It's KJ, this is KJ Does It, and I just wanted to welcome you to my next video. There's something that's been holding me back, so I've been trying to figure out what that is. So I ended up doing some research, and what I found was surprising and empowering. And today, I'm gonna tell you guys how it's helped me, and how it's gonna help you too. Stay tuned. So, during my research process, I actually discovered that there are a lot of videos that are already covering this topic, and I might have accidentally fallen trap into procrastinating myself by discovering some things that I really didn't mean to. For instance, did you know that a sloth is 3 times stronger than the average human? That's right. They can actually hold their entire body weight at birth with just one arm. How crazy is that? So you think about that next time that you're trying to have a pull-up contest with a sloth, because chances are you're barking up the wrong tree. Shit. Right, where were we? Oh, yeah, research. So in the process of researching for this video, I learned of a term called conscientiousness. Conscientiousness. And what that means is it's a term that means to do a task well, and is a trait that people who plan ahead instead of just being impulsive tend to have. And it got me thinking, am I like that? No, not at all, actually. You know what? I don't think I really feel like doing this right now. Nice.
First video of the day is uploaded.
Yeah. Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Sorry about that. Just doing some research on procrastinating. Where were we? Right, so there were some studies that were done by Roy Baumeister and Diane Tice. I'm sorry if I said those names wrong, but they're members of the Association for Psychological Science, and in it, they actually found that procrastinating not only limits our ability to get tasks done, but actually causes more stress, which can cause more illness. And I thought that was pretty surprising to learn. Hang on, I got some more notes here. Also, focusing on feeling good now, missing out on learning how to correct behaviors and avoid similar issues in the future, generally focusing on how to feel better about the situation rather than drawing insight from what makes us feel bad. Right. So it's a way that we try to bargain with ourselves in the hopes that our future selves are somehow going to be equipped with being able to deal with the stressors that come with procrastinating, and not really understanding how to deal with those things now to help us in the future. Right. So one key reason why procrastinators procrastinate is because we're perfectionists. In the Art of Manliness podcast with Dr. Reverend Joseph Ferrari, he talks about how one catalyst for procrastination can stem from our habit of ruminating on our past failures instead of our accomplishments, and that chronic procrastinators tend to be easily bored, indecisive, and easily distracted. One thing that you can do is practice making decisions. It's actually a skill. For instance, if you're out and about with your partner and they say, "Where would you like to eat?" and you start thinking, "Oh, I don't know. Why don't you pick?" Because what if you do pick something, and what if it sucks, right? Like you get there and there's a long wait and it's crowded and it's loud and it's noisy and then the food sucks. Well, then you're a bad person, because you just made a bad decision, and now that person's going to have less trust in you than they did before, right? One way to counteract that is to just decide. So that really helps narrow down things, and it doesn't put so much on our plate. And then when we practice making decisions, it gets easier in the long run. And sometimes our decisions are going to suck, and that's okay too. And the cool thing about procrastinating is it's a learned concept as well. Really? Yep. That's why we can unlearn it. And stay tuned, because I'm going to show you guys later on exactly step by step what we can do to help solve this. So full disclosure, I obviously wrote a script for this video, so I knew what to talk about and what order I wanted to talk about things in. But for this part, I didn't really need a script because it was so relatable to me that I could actually just start talking about it off the cuff. So I was reading The Art of Procrastination by John Perry, and in it he was talking about how there are structured procrastinators, and what those people are, they're ones that have a task ahead of them and they'll end up doing everything related to it to an extent, but not actually the task itself. For instance, in making a video, right? You've got an ideation process, a script writing, creating a thumbnail, actually recording yourself, editing the footage, uploading it, and then if you go to the extent, promoting it, right? And then, so for instance, for me, whenever I'm making a video, you know, I might want to sort all my files in Premiere and After Effects and on my computer, you know. I want to make sure all my notes are categorized so they're easy to find. I want to clean up hard drive space and do other things to make my computer run a bit more efficiently so that way it's an easier process for me when I actually get around to start making a video. And so that's called structured procrastinating. And the whole point of structured procrastinating is for us to feel like we are accomplished or we're actually doing something. Cool. So how do we become less of a procrastinator? Step 1. Just be perfect. Wait, don't be perfect. Sorry. Just do stuff. Just do it. Just throw it out there because it's never going to be perfect. You're never going to be able to live up to your own expectations. Nobody critiques your work more than you do. And if you just put stuff out there, over time, you're going to get an opportunity to be able to refine it. And so I had to tell myself that when I was making this video and when I was making my last one, and I realized I just needed to put stuff out there. I'm not going to get 100,000 subscribers overnight. I'm not going to get 1 million watch hours. It's just the way it is. But it's going to come with time and persistence. Step 2, break it all down. So let's say, for instance, you've got a big task ahead of you and you're just looking at it like a skyscraper. It's monumental, right? Well, it's kind of like asking somebody to build a fire when they've never built one before. There's certain steps that go into this, and if you break it down step by step, it makes it that much easier. Like, what does a fire need? It needs fuel, it needs oxygen, and it needs a catalyst, like a spark or maybe a smaller flame. So when you put it into that context, it makes things that much more manageable, and you don't have to complete it all at one time either. You just make progress, which leads me to my next point. Creating to-do lists. Right. So if you have a to-do list, you can also include don't-dos on your to-do list. For instance, your morning routine. You wake up, you get out of bed, you go to the bathroom, maybe you take a shower, brush your teeth, get breakfast, in whatever order. But you also want to include don't-dos on your to-do list. For instance, get dressed when you get out of the shower. Don't crawl back in bed. Don't hit the snooze alarm. And then when you get to where you're actually working at, maybe step 1, open your computer. Step 2, don't browse Reddit. Step number 4, tricking yourself. So this is something that I personally do. I haven't read about this anywhere else. And what I'll do is, if I know I've got a task ahead of me the next day, I'll mentally prepare myself for that before I go to bed that night. You know, I'll try to envision what my environment's going to be like, how I'm going to feel. And I'm going to tell myself that I'm going to feel good, I'm going to feel energetic, and I'm going to feel motivated to get this done. And most of the time it works. Step 5, a very important one, treating yourself.
3 words for you. Treat yourself.
Do what you can to make your task as enjoyable as possible. And every time you accomplish a little bit on your to-do list, give yourself a little treat. Whatever that is, you decide. Step 6, just do one thing. If you decide to do anything with your task and your to-do list, you don't have to do all of it. Just start on one thing. Maybe you're dreading going to the store, right? Because it requires mentally preparing yourself on the possibility that you're going to have to be social with people, you're going to have to deal with traffic, and even before you leave the house, you're going to have to get a list of groceries that you need, and you're going to have to get dressed and all this stuff. But maybe just start by putting your socks on. Something as innocuous as that could really set in motion all the other events that are necessary in order to be able to get you to the grocery store to get what you need. Step 7, break often. So I've been working on this for about 3.5 hours now, and I'm starting to get a little fatigued. So even though I'm not halfway done with this yet, I'm probably going to end up taking a nap. A 30-minute to an hour long nap is going to recharge my brain, it's going to recharge my body, and it's going to re-energize me so that way I feel good enough to be able to complete the rest of this video. So if you're in the middle of a long process or a task, just give yourself a little break and then come back to it later. You'll thank yourself. Okay, so we covered a lot today, and I want to thank you guys so much for your time and watching, and I hope you've gained something from this. If there is anything that I might have missed, I invite you to comment and let me know, or anything else that you'd like to see in a future video. And if you'd like this one, please, I sincerely invite you to like, share, subscribe. It really helps out. Thank you guys again so much, and I'll see you in the next one.